Welcome to Mr. UFC Vegas Fight Club TV. I am Kyle, your host. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the prediction show for Fight Night 139, the Korean Zombie versus Yair Rodriguez. We're going to get into our best bet play, our free play, and our overall feeling on this card. It is not one of the greatest cards. I know that. I've talked to a couple of you guys already, and you're already saying it's not the greatest card. But the fact that there are so many events, there's 8 more events, I believe, this year. So there is just so many great opportunities to make some money, place some bets, and a lot of great upcoming fights, especially that one at the end of the year is going to be phenomenal. So we will get into all of that as it keeps coming. Keep pumping out these videos here. So we're looking at probably always having our prediction shows Wednesday or Thursday, and then we will release our pick on Wagertalk for purchase there as well, and we'll have our free play on this channel as well. And then we're looking to have our bet review show probably Monday, maybe Tuesday, but probably Monday will be the schedule moving forward for the rest of this year. So we will get into all of that. This card here, like I'm saying, it's not the greatest. There's not the big, even the main event is somewhat good. It will be a very intriguing matchup, but I would have liked to have seen Frankie Edgar there. I think that would have been really great to have, a star like him in that main event, kind of building a little bit more of this card. But he's out on injury, which, doesn't bode well for him at just the stage of his career at this point. But we're going to get into the free play and discuss a little bit of one other play that I liked here, and just to kind of talk about it as well. And one of them, and I hear a lot of people talking about it, and one of them I want to get into is Jermaine Durandamy versus Raquel Pennington. And now this fight here, to me, it's a very interesting fight. And it's one that I think is not really getting much conversation when we're talking about this event. You've got Durandamy who, fought Holly Holm, beat Holly Holm, which was very questionable on some of the late strikes, late shots that she had landed after the bell, but does get that victory. Then gave up her belt because she did not want to fight Cyborg, which is also interesting. So for someone like Durandamy, who is a world-class kickboxer, I think she was like 47-0 in her kickboxing career. For someone of that caliber to then not want to fight Cyborg is an interesting part of this storyline. And then you've got somebody like Pennington, who has beaten a couple good fighters. Very quietly beat Miesha Tate. She even beat Andrade a while ago. So she's beaten a couple tough fighters. And looking at the odds, you got Pennington. She's plus, the plus side of things. Plus, I think it's plus 155, 160, 170. You're kind of seeing depending where you're shopping it. And Durandamy's a bigger favorite. So there's a lot to be said there. But I think the thing here in this fight is really going to be interesting to see what Pennington does. I mean, Pennington was able to fight Nunes. They're friends. That whole thing where she did take that fight, did Nunes kind of lay up a little bit against Pennington just because they're friends? And I'm very, very high on Nunes in general. I just think she is just a fantastic fighter and just really the future of women's mixed martial arts. So that fight, she did have some success when she was taking down Nunes or at least pressuring Nunes, but I think Nunes kind of laid up on that fight. So it's interesting to see how these two, in Durandamy and Pennington, will really fight. And for me here, I think that, I almost wanted to pick this as a free play, but I backed off on it because I was so much back and forth on this. I was really, and I'll give you again my opinion on this. I am not placing money on this fight, but to my opinion on this, I see this, why people are taking Pennington. She's got a path to victory and just pressuring and trying to take down the kickboxer. And the other side of that is that, Durandamy, she's got, I think it's 80% takedown defense, where she has been able to shut out a lot of other fighters not able to take her down. So that really starts to bring a lot of interesting factors into this fight. And it's not going to be something where you're saying, hey, they're going to stand, they're going to bang, and that's kind of the way it's going to be going, where you got someone like Holly Holm, who did try to take a couple takedowns, but it's more of a striking fight. Here, Pennington's scrappy. I think, honestly, that there's a shot that Pennington can get this victory here, but I was just so scared of the stand-up striking of Durandamy, and she hasn't fought in a while. She's come out and said that she feels great. It's the best she's felt, but I think that's kind of, a lot of people say that kind of stuff. So I just kind of stayed away from that fight. I thought it was very interesting, and I was just back and forth. You guys let me know what you guys think. I know there was a couple of you guys, we did talk about this fight in the comment section, and do not forget, I answer every comment down below, so after this video, we will continue the conversation down below. But, a couple of you guys were very confident in Durandamy, and I see why also. I definitely see why. She is just a world-class striker, and she could pick apart the slower, just scrappier Pennington. So I was back and forth on it. Let me know what you guys think. If I had to pick, I would probably go Durandamy. If I had to pick right now, make that decision, but the reason I backed off it, and the play we're about to talk about, the free play, is where I was able to place my bet on, because I just didn't see the value on Durandamy, where I could just see a sloppy fight and somehow Pennington pulls out a decision victory. And I could see the plus odds there not being too bad to take Pennington. So let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe, kick the bell icon, get involved with Fight Club TV. It's a growing UFC and gambling channel all in one spot. So what we're going to now talk about is the free play. Now, the free play here is going to be between Donald Cerrone and Mike Perry. Now, this fight here, you've got two guys. You've got Donald Cerrone is a +1, depending again where you're shopping, plus 170, 180 I've seen. Perry has been in the range of, minus 170 to minus 190. I was able to get it at minus 185. So, you look at these two guys here, and there is a little bit of a storyline going on in this fight, and most of you probably know of it, but just to kind of go over it very quickly, you take a look at this kind of fight, and you take a look at these two guys, what they've done, their body of work in general, and Cerrone is a vet. He's beaten some great fighters. He's been out there, and he has done extremely well over his career. And then he hit a rough patch, lost a couple tough fights, was knocked out against Darren Till, came back, beat Yancy Medeiros, and then came back and had a very close fight against Leon Edwards, which is highly touted. People are really talking him up as a great fighter moving forward. But then you take a look at that. And, he had worked at, his home gym was Jackson Wink. And now there's been a lot of issues and beef between Donald Cerrone and Mike Perry and Jackson Wink. So there has been issues. I actually wouldn't even say it was between Mike Perry and Cerrone. It's the fact that Mike Perry, as any mixed martial artist is, he's trying to just up his game, go to, those higher touted gyms. And this is where Cerrone was currently housed out of, and then they accepted Perry to come in, and then Perry, I guess, somehow they signed this fight, and Cerrone was very upset in the fact that this is actually going to be happening, and they're at the same gym, and he had just came in, Perry had just came in, and Cerrone had a big long time at Jackson Wink, so now he's no longer there. And even in some of the recent media that's been coming out with Cerrone, he is really just, he's very upset about it. He says there is no way ever that he could ever make up with that camp. He says that there's been a lot of bad blood between them. Things have been said away from the media between these two guys. So it's interesting to see where that's all going from. But then you take a look at Mike Perry. Now, Mike Perry, he comes in. He's the guy that really just goes out there, throws bombs. He's very aggressive, a lot of strength, physical strength, has the power, a lot of great things about it, but a lot of times he's not technically sound. And that's where Cerrone definitely has more technical ability and striking than when it comes to something that Mike Perry has. And as well as just Cerrone is is more well-rounded. He's good on the ground, good off his back, he's good in the clinch. There's a lot of good things about him. But definitely there's a downturn currently going on with Donald Cerrone. Now, I am seeing a lot of people do like Donald Cerrone. There's plus odds on him. You cannot hate on the fact if you're getting plus 180 on Donald Cerrone. And again, for me, my free play, out of the 100%, out of the allotted money that I do for each event, I do about 10 to 15% on my free play, and the rest is on my best bet play. So I put a little bit of exposure into another play. I'll probably parlay this one with my best bet play. So there's ways that I kind of stack my bets. And for me here, I just am not big on Donald Cerrone at this point. I just am not sold on where he is at this point, where his last win was against Yancy Medeiros, who I think is completely sloppy and doesn't really bring much to the table besides just guts and toughness overall. And Cerrone at this point, to me, just seems uninterested. He doesn't seem like a kind of guy that's out there that is really looking to move up the ranks, looking to, continually evolve as a mixed martial artist. He just had a son. Seems like he's more focused on that. He just got basically thrown out or left Jackson Wink. So there's a lot of moving parts to when you look at Donald Cerrone. And to me, it's more of a paycheck for Donald Cerrone. And he's just uninterested in furthering his career. And he just wants to make money. He definitely has a known name. People like him because he does go out there and he fights. He will take on anybody. And people love that about him. And that's how he's gotten such a great fan base. But you take a look at Mike Perry, who is going the other way. He's saying, I need to evolve. I need to get better. I need to continually just evolve as a mixed martial artist, and that's why he went to Jackson Wink. And he has the power and the physical ability, and he just needs to be really sculpted better. So when I first heard the odds were coming out, I actually thought it would be in the 250 range for Mike Perry. That's just, I'm a lot higher on Mike Perry than I am Donald Cerrone. Some people are very big still on Donald Cerrone, some of the past things that he's done. So again, I can't disagree with that because this is a tough fight. It's definitely going to be a tough fight. But for me, I just don't see any outlet here where Donald Cerrone is able to really manipulate any cage movement from Mike Perry, able to really fend off some of the clinches, able to really fend off some of the takedowns if Mike Perry tries to bully him. I don't really see spots where Cerrone can really dictate the pace of this fight. Now, if they're on the ground and Cerrone's on top, that's going to be a great spot for him. I think he's going to have opportunities to put damage on Perry and continually move his position. I think there's a lot of great things that can happen there. But I don't think he's going to be able to get top position or get the back of Perry at any point in this fight. And I question the chin also of Donald Cerrone. I think that there's been spots there where he's been staggered, he's been knocked out. I don't think that he has the heart to keep pushing forward. He's just a tough-as-nails fighter, and I am a fan of his, unquestionably a fan of Donald Cerrone. I've watched him throughout his career. He had a heck of a run, and he just seems like at this point, things are changing in his life. He no longer really is just, again, looking to evolve. And you take a look at a big part to me that I'm taking a look when I looked at this fight overall is Mike Perry's last fight against Paul Felder. Now, this was a tough fight, but Paul Felder, to me, is an elite fighter. I am very high on Paul Felder, his skill set, what he's able to do, his stand-up, he's tough. Overall, he's just a great fighter. And for him to go out there, and it was a split decision victory for Mike Perry, but I think overall, in that fight, Perry fought smart, he fought a little bit more relaxed, he used other tools, and in some of these other fights, like even against Ponzinibbio, even against Max Griffin. These two fights here, it seemed like he just looked for the one big bomb. He kind of pressed, he looked for the big shot, and that's kind of all that he was able to do in those fights. And it's easy to see what's happening. Even when I was watching these other fights, I'm saying, he's doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing over and over again. He's trying to tee up one big punch and put the guy's lights out. And I think it really takes away from when he was doing it prior in his career, and Mike Perry was doing a lot of that and able to, land a big shot, knock out a guy. He was able to do that. You can do that at certain levels, and there's some guys that he beat that were good fighters. But now you're starting to talk about guys who are starting to scheme a little bit better, have better game plans, really understand what Mike Perry is doing, and I think he was able to do a lot of different things in the cage against Paul Felder, which Paul Felder was probably looking for the one big bomb, and I think he just changed it up. It was a tough fight. Again, I am a big fan of Paul Felder, as I just think he's a great fighter. I'm really big on Paul Felder, and his skill set overall, I think he's very well-rounded. And for Mike Perry to get that victory, I think says a lot. I think it says a lot about where he is now in his mixed martial art career. So for me, at a minus 185, I don't think that's a horrible play. I think that a horrible odds. I think that it's a good play, that if you take that and you're going to look to parlay it, I'm definitely going to be parlaying this with my best bet play as well as betting it straight. So I think a little bit of exposure in this fight is good. I just don't see Donald Cerrone being able to withstand the barrage that will come at him over the 3 rounds. And Donald Cerrone has even stated, and the way he said it made me believe it even more, that he was basically saying, I'm going to stand in the middle of the cage and we're going to fight. And he goes, what's the worst that can happen? I get knocked out. So for him, he's not looking to take this to the ground. I mean, of course, you can't always take what people say in interviews as giving up their game plan, but I think that's where Donald Cerrone is at this point. I think he just does not care. He's out there saying it's a paycheck, and if I land a big bomb and knock out Perry, he probably makes $50,000 on knockout of the night. If he doesn't and it's just an absolute war, maybe he makes money off of fight of the night. So I think for me, this is where Cerrone is. He's not looking to be smart and just go out there and get maybe a decision victory and say, hey, maybe if I just take Perry to the ground, tire him out, which is a definite path to victory. I don't think Cerrone's doing that. I think he's going to stand, he's going to try to kick, he's going to try to knock out Perry, where Perry's going to do the same thing, and I think those exchanges, Perry wins. So my bet will be, as a free play, I will be betting Mike Perry to win that fight. Now, we're also going to be having, again, our best bet play. Our best bet play will be $20. It will be on Wagertalk. You can check it out on my profile, link down below. Check out Wagertalk.com. You will see all of the handicappers there. You look for Mr. UFC Vegas. You will see past picks that I've had, as well as the write-up for my free play. And when you make the purchase, you will get a big write-up for my my $20 purchase, my $20 best bet purchase. So we'll take a look at that. What we're also going to be doing is we're going to be doing a rest of the year package. Now, a couple of you guys actually have been reaching out to me to saying, hey, listen, you know, is there any extra package that you have for somebody that's looking to purchase up front and purchase the rest of the year? Talk to Wagertalk, talk to the owners there. We're definitely going to be doing something, so take a look on Wagertalk. You'll see it next to, you can now purchase just the $20 play or do, and we're taking a look at the prices right now, so take a look on the website because we're actually in the middle of discussing what we're going to charge it for, but it'll be a big savings if you make the purchase for the rest of the year. And again, there is an event every weekend for the rest of this year, so who doesn't like getting some extra tips? And at least every week there is a UFC event and there's opportunities to make some money. So do not forget to subscribe, like, kick the bell icon, get involved with Fight Club TV. And this is Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV.